As we all know, it is saying that I'm going live, but I am actually live right now. It's amazing how much that trips people up. Before we get into everything you guys are used to, my usual push for the social medias that you should be all a part of, let you guys know, starting very, very shortly, Ketwalski and I are actually starting a podcast that we'll be doing, which I am extremely excited about, and the name will be given very shortly. Additionally, Friday the 1st at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I told you guys Wednesday last time, but that got changed. Friday the 1st, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, I will be talking with a Star Trek Voyager writer. She was there for most of the run of Voyager. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope you guys can make it because we'll be taking questions and all that stuff. So let's get down to it. Check me out, twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded. Been doing some fun stuff there. Twitter.com/Lore Reloaded. Definitely go and check me out on Twitter because we can talk about whatever you want there. I mean, seriously, any question I'm not answering here, I'll answer there. What is going on? Nassim, Bison Hawk, Johnny Doe, Nonprofit, Anakin, Davy Boy. Nathan loves my video. Well, my videos love you, Nathan. And good evening to you as well, to me. Always a pleasure. Yes, I do have a beard. I am also of a larger build. I'm glad a lot of people like to point that out. So let's just get into it. Who was the chick in the beginning of the Miranda class video? Were you getting laid? I was not getting laid. The chick in the Miranda class video was nothing I had to do. I did not put that together. I'm not even sure what you're talking about. Let's look it up together real quick, because now you got me confused as all hell, good sir. Oh no, that was a voiceover from Star Trek Online, from the actual game. I thought you meant there was someone on screen. I was like, who the hell was on screen? So we're going to go ahead and talk about Axanar, break it down, discuss the film itself, maybe get a little bit into the controversy if you guys want into it. Want to, not want into it. And, just go from there. What are your thoughts on Star Citizen? Don't know enough about Star Citizen, honestly, to give a good opinion. So let's kind of break it down. We're going to take a look at a couple of the commercials, I guess. Trailers is the word I'm looking for. And then we'll go from there. You guys should be able to hear it. I'm going to turn it just a little bit up. These trailers aren't that long, so I'm actually not going to talk specifically during them. For those who don't know, Axanar is going to be a fan film that is hopefully coming out. They've said they've been wanting to come out for a long time, for quite a few years. They finally started principal photography. They finally started filming what they wanted to, and it's looking like it is moving forward. So I'm excited about that. And since we are seeing movements forward, I figured it's time to maybe start discussing where they might go, what they're doing, and stuff like that. So let's take a look at their most recent one, and then we can go from there. So there we go.
We are facing an enemy that is consumed and committed.
Nope. Just kidding. Not that
to
one.
our total
Just kidding, boys. Give me a second. Wrong one, good sir. Wrong one. Da-da-da.
Some men see things as they are and say why. I dream things that never were and say why not.
Ignition sequence start.
And I hope that's not copyrighted footage. I assume they wouldn't have used copyrighted footage. that shaky cam dough. All right, so that's the most recent one that they've done. We'll do a couple of the others. If you haven't, definitely go watch Prelude to Axanar, the short film, I guess, that they did. It was really well done. I mean, you can't watch that and not get excited about it, in my opinion. But as far as I'm aware, the Axanar is film again is moving forward, and they're going to be having a lot of it based on the Battle of Axanar. Now, I'm not completely sure. I guess I should look into it a little bit more. This was the film that started a lot of controversies for a lot of reasons, but what they're most known for is getting sued by CBS. Frederick Brin hating it because there's no lens flare. I gotta admit, they didn't stick to canon on that one. That was kind of upsetting, if you will. Isn't NASA legally required to release all footage into the public domain? I'm not sure or not. I do know that I have tried to use footage of space, things like that, of rocket takeoffs, and have gotten hit. So I'm sure they did. That was just me thinking in retrospect. I probably wouldn't have shown it just because I hadn't talked and asked first. I try to be a little overly cautious with that, probably to my own detriment. But I'm curious, what do you guys think about Axanar? Are you excited about it? Are you upset about it? I from everything I've seen, from all of the behind the scenes, from the actual footage itself, I can't help but at least enjoy it. I think Alec and those he works with are exceptional at filmmaking. I would love to be on the set just to see how they work through things. Just because, again, it's very well put together. But then again, there is a lot of things that are behind the scenes that can really hurt the overall work for you. For those, I mean, I guess you can't talk to me or watch one of my videos without me bringing more and more of my education into it. But one of the things that I've started to accept, or one of the things that I've started to kind of embrace, is a concept I've talked about before, is death of the author. So regardless of what happens in behind the scenes, looking at Axanar itself, it's an awesome concept. And again, the footage couldn't look more beautiful, though that I don't think makes or breaks it. The storyline and where it is going really is what's going to be intriguing to me to see if they go anywhere with it. For those who haven't seen a lot of the storyline, as far as I'm aware and from what I can gather, the Klingons ultimately go to war with the Federation, and the humans are the ones the humans and Andorians really are the ones backing the fight almost 100%. The Vulcans want everyone to have peace, and I mean the humans and Andorians want that too. But if they're going to fight, they're going to fight. And the Vulcans within Axanar, within this specific fan film, are pulling out of the Federation. They want to disassociate completely. And without Vulcan's backing, without their technology and their prestige, Starfleet won't be able to defeat the Klingons. And so I think it's going to be a race against time, where they are going to attempt to take down or bring down the Klingons, at least to the point where the Vulcans either stay in it or where Vulcan pulling out wouldn't matter. At least that's where I think they're going with it. Again, I don't know the backstory completely. Yamamoto, every time I hear about Starfleet not being a military, always brings to mind the pacifism lesson from the book Starship Troopers. People who don't want war more tend to get killed by those who do. I think I could agree with that. I really do. I think I could agree with that. Axanar basically tells the story of the Fossa universe with some minor alterations. I do like the idea a lot. I have heard that, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. I don't know a lot about the Fossa universe, specifically with Axanar, the 4 Years' War and everything. I don't really know a ton about that. And I have went out of my way to really not get into that information. By the way, 100 people watching, only 22 likes. What's up with that? Hit that like button. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Story-wise, Axanar is an interesting concept. Wonder if they can keep the tension under the new rules while they can't do their great project anymore. Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people are concerned about. They do have certain exceptions that others don't. Specifically, the use of different actors they were still allowed to use. They can also complete a few things that isn't in the guidelines. And they've also, from my understanding, received a breach of contract already or breach of I don't know if it's contract, but a breach of the terms that they agreed to with CBS. And I don't know if that means CBS is going to be gearing up for another fight or not. I would like all of this just to be over. I hope CBS doesn't intend to go further with it. As far as I can tell, it doesn't appear like Alec or Ares Industries, I think it's still called that, is doing what they got all upset about, at least not publicly. And they really just need to back off on that. But that's just my opinion. I just don't like it when it forces it into a liked videos list. I don't know what you're referring to. Axanar 2 ETA 2050, but here are 10 million production updates. You know, Max, I did feel that way for a while, and I'm still cautious, but they are moving forward with a lot of what they said they were going to be doing. So that gives me hope, because we are seeing principal photography, we are seeing production happening, and that's not something we've observed before. So while I would agree that throughout the years they said it was supposed to be at, what was it, Comic-Con? A couple of Comic-Cons they said they were going to debut and they didn't. But now they're actually filming it. So I'm a little more optimistic about it. Don't the Axanar Vulcans continue still defensive scientific systems to Starfleet ship builds despite trying to be neutral? They never were, from everything we've seen in Axanar, they never were trying to be neutral. They were a part of the war, but they did limit it, as it says in Prelude to Axanar, to defensive systems, which is interesting and gives us a little more insight into at least how Alec looks at the Federation when you can pick and choose what systems go on the ships. That is an intriguing way of breaking it down. Frederick Ben, are you going to discuss the show The Expanse? I have several videos out on The Expanse, in fact. Nathan, I don't like having those videos saved to playlists, but I do like your videos. Do you go to your liked playlist, sir? Nathan, if that even is your real name. In Discovery, the Klingons reached Earth in 6 months. In Discovery, the Klingons reach Earth in 6 months. In old canon, it took 4 years for Klingons to reach Axanar. It takes the Enterprise 7 weeks to get to Vulcan. Why would a war reach as it did in Star Trek Discovery? Was it 6 months? No, I think it was longer than 6 months. The war had been going on for a while, but they went missing for 6 months. So, we don't know exactly where they were either. But we do know that the line shifted based on different scenes we see in Discovery. The line would shift back and forth between them. So we don't know exactly where the line of battle was occurring. But from wherever that was, it did take them 6 months. Now, if you look at the Next Generation, well, I don't think it matters, but if you look at the Next Generation warp scale, a ship going warp 5 from Vulcan to Earth takes about a month. So I can only imagine if you were using the original series warp scale, how long it would take. Vulcan limiting to defensive system. Logic is not with them, apparently. Yeah, but I mean, that's not inconsistent. Vulcan's not following logic and then calling it logic is not exactly out of the norm. Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, don't go look at it right now. But after this, let me...
Could have a drink.
Whoop. Don't know if you guys probably heard that. I didn't see her. I don't see her in any of the material, so I don't know if she's going to continue being there. But there's Prelude to Axanar. Honestly, the Klingon War is so vague in Star Trek Discovery, it wouldn't really be hard to squeeze it into the same continuity of Axanar. Yeah, that's one of my problems with Star Trek Discovery. Not to get into that, but Star Trek Discovery was Days of Our Lives in space. They did not really go into that all that much. The prelude makes me think if the Federation was more like the 13 colonies under Confederation or Articles in the 1780s, and the war unites them to a real federation. That could be interesting. I could almost see that to a degree, but I would counter that the Romulan War probably combined them. We do know that the Klingon or the Federation was first the what was it? Coalition of Planets. The Coalition of Planets would be the precursor to the Federation, and from the evidence we have, the Coalition of Planets was loosely based. It was kind of like, as you said, a confederation. And then the Romulan War happened. We don't know exactly how that went through, but we do know at least towards the end. I'm of the opinion that it happened before, but we do know at least towards the end, the Romulans united the Tellarites, the United Earth, the Andorians, and the Vulcans. And at that point, that formed into the Federation. It's really thanks to the Romulans more than the Klingons. People have asked Alec about the CBS thing, the breach of contract thing. He said breach of settlement. Someone else said it was a mistake with phrasing. Someone in their staff called it an independent Star Trek film. Okay. Well, hopefully they got that fixed. Star Trek Discovery, 1/3 of Starfleet was destroyed. So according to season 2, that would be 2,310. I don't know how many ships they were. You guys want to take a look? Let's take a look at another one and kind of break down what we think is going on. Am I the only one who's confused with the on-screen size-distant ratios? Those battles happen hundreds of kilometers distance, yet it seems like it happens at some 100 miles distance, or meters. Maybe. The one thing about Star Trek I'll say, and I don't get upset when it happens in fan films because it happens in the original sources all the time, is that they don't care about sizes. They don't care about distances. They don't care about how accurate the ships look. They just want it to look good on screen. That's literally all they care about, is it looking good on screen. Which may or may not be a good thing. Depends on how you want to look at it. Let's see. Ba-ba-da.
By now, you will know of the attack by forces of the Klingon Empire. There can be no justification for such brutality. Make no mistake, the Federation will stand united until the last star burns cold and we see this scourge of Klingon aggression shattered like waves upon the firmament. We will not fail.
And if you guys want to, we may actually try to do the entire prelude, though I don't know that I'm geared for that. It's weird watching the disembodied voice of Martok talk, because you have to remind yourself that he's actually a Starfleet officer in this and not one of the Klingons. They keep trying to position it again as this military epic, which is what we may see. Now, from everything I've seen, I'll be honest with you, I kind of wanted another Prelude to Axanar. I thought Prelude to Axanar was so well done that they should do another, documentary style. And it should just be an actual breakdown of the war, not scenes themselves. But, they're not going that way. They're going to be doing an actual short film about it. How do massively large starships look better on screen than regular-sized starships? They just do. It took me a moment to realize it was J.G. Hertzler. It was, in fact. He was one of the only ones to stay when everything else happened. Phaser range is 100,000 kilometers. Torpedoes even more, so the range was never realistic, but realistic distances would make it kind of boring. I agree. Acting fan film has bad acting. Acting fan film has bad act. I don't think the acting in Axanar is bad at all. In fact, I need to go back to the talking scene so you guys can see me. They should make Battlestar Galactica the first Cylon War. They already did. Machinima did it. Well, they did a part of it. I think that would be interesting to see, too. You know, again, so let me ask you guys this. When it comes to Axanar, what do you want to see? What specifically kind of fan film do you want them to make? I absolutely agree with the wish for another documentary. It seems much more manageable. Not only do I think it's more manageable, but I think you could have a lot more fun with it. When writing a short film and doing a story, it would be hard to include everything in that story. You could really only tell one, maybe two good engagements, maybe. But with the documentary, we were shown with the documentary, you could hit the high points and do really well. What's going on, Jeremiah Clark? Star Trek Renegades actually redeemed Manu and Manu, in my opinion. Okay. A horror movie with no battles, like a BBC One drama. Yeah. If you want space battles, go to Star Wars. I disagree with that. I think you could have good space battles and intriguing concepts with Star Trek. I don't think it's fair to say that Star Wars is where the space battles need to happen. I think that there can be intriguing things explored in war or in conflict. They do need to bring back Babylon 5, though, I'd say. Axanar, I want starships in oceans and submarines in space. Well, then do it. Do it. I agree with the documentary style. Worked very well, but they did such a good job with it. I'm curious to see how they'll handle more traditional style of telling a Trek story. Well, I guess hopefully we'll see. You guys, now what we could do if you wanted to, if you haven't seen it, they have like a quickie version of Prelude to Axanar. I don't mind breaking that down and going through it with you guys, but I'm not sure it'd be something that's all that interesting. I don't know. I want to actually see some of the politics inside the Federation and its member species contributing. It would also be great to see Klingons as something more than space Mongol Vikings. That's a lot to ask for 10 minutes plus credits. Intro and credits, I think. It would be intriguing if they could do this in the amount of time it deserves, because to see the Vulcans want to leave the Federation is highly interesting to me. And I think that they would. I think that you could have a lot of conflict around that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read these comments while I talk to you guys. Last I heard, they were going with the documentary style format. I haven't watched the most recent update. Maybe they decided to go with that, but they did not. That was not the original intent. The fandom we need is what we used to have pre-Disney Star Wars and Star Trek Discovery, where we could argue but still get along, unlike now. I would agree with that, Eric Culp. I don't think anyone wants to change, though. I think it's highly profitable in money views, and I think people just like hating. I think that's just the world we live in. I honestly do. I'd like to see a large part involving Suval. He was a good character. Yeah, I think Suval disassociated himself with the actor. Suval disassociated himself with with Axanar. I could be wrong on that, but I think he did. Devin Walker, we're talking about Prelude to Axanar, and Axanar being coming out hopefully soon. I'd like to see a Star Trek series about the colonies and their lives. I don't know what you mean by that. I'd need more information before we went into it. Would be fun to see the Klingon version of such a documentary in Klingon with subtitles. The thing about Prelude to Axanar I liked is that they had Klingon characters, at least one, and I wish they could have. Unfortunately, that actor died, but I think that a documentary with both sides, kind of like what we see with like World War dramas and things like that, or World War documentaries. You know, here's an interesting thing. Did you know a documentary doesn't have to be truthful? There is nothing that requires when you make a documentary that it be truthful or unbiased. Think about that when you're watching Shane Dawson's documentary series. I used to love arguing over Voyager, liked the show, but enjoyed fighting with fans. We all had a good time picking the best captain. Now I get shut down if I even mention I dislike it. Well, they're silly. How many videos on Expanse have I done? Like 2. I think Axanar should do the Earth-Romulan War next while they have the sets made. The sets wouldn't fit in with the Romulan War, I don't think. No, they wouldn't at all. They'd have to remake all of the sets. And I don't know that they won't. I don't know if I'm Alec that I want to be in the business of doing Trek ever after this, honestly. Watched the prelude about 20 times. Can't wait for the next 3 episodes. Going to be 2. Good sir. I've only watched the short prelude to Axanar version. How much extra does the 20? It is worth watching the 20-minute version. Go watch. Well, I mean, after this, of course, go watch the full 20 minutes. You're doing yourself a disservice by not watching it. No, a documentary that's not truthful isn't a true documentary. That is untrue. Rock Solid Productions. Documentaries can be biased. They can, in fact, give inaccurate information. There is nowhere and nothing that requires it. Now, the person may be of low integrity. You may try to say they're not journalists, but when it comes to the way documentaries are made, yeah. In fact, the first documentaries were nothing but propaganda. Well, a lot of the first documentaries were nothing but propaganda. The first documentary was actually made by a woman who was trying to show the plight of the Russian people. I don't know if hers was propaganda, but for sure, the first couple of documentaries that ever entered. Oh, Trek is risky business these days. The Ferengi have taken over. So let's move into that just a little bit. I have to be honest. I think CBS is Making a Murderer is still a documentary, whether you like it or not. It's like saying Star Trek Discovery isn't Trek. Okay, if that's what you think. But what you think and what it is are two different things. Going back to the CBS thing. CBS I think they're a lot more lax when it comes to getting lawyers involved than what people like to think. I do believe that they'll push and push, but when it comes to actual lawsuits, they back off pretty quick, generally. I'll be honest with you. I've stated this before. I don't blame CBS for doing something about what we saw with Axanar. I think that Axanar did go too far, and I think their goals were not positive. At least from CBS's point of view. I think CBS definitely went too far. I think they definitely overreacted. There were other ways they could have handled it. But wanting to shut down Axanar for what Axanar was doing, I think they had a right, if not an imperative, to do that. Whether it was because of Star Trek Discovery or because of just the way Axanar was handling things. Now, that said, I really wish they would have, slapped Axanar on the wrist, made a public deal of how bad this is, and then worked with Axanar to make what they wanted to make. So that's just my opinion. The thing people don't understand is CBS has historically ignored fan films and looked the other way. Even $100,000 fan films, they didn't really necessarily have an issue. You can look at Star Trek Continues. You can look at Renegades. You can look at a lot of these big fan film-esque videos. Hey, Lee Willie 00, I knew you were going to be on, so that's why I came on. I knew this would be the first time you'd see me. They ignored it for a long time. But that was kind of a precarious position because CBS loves money. They absolutely just want it. They love money. So they would license the Star Trek property for hundreds of thousands, for tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. But these fan films weren't being licensed, and they were letting it get away. And they were letting people get away with it. And then you have a company that creates something that can compete. Even though others brands have competed, this one can compete. They are selling merchandise, and they are open that they're going to use that money to make their own studio. And they don't have to license any of it. Now we got a problem. And I can't say that I necessarily disagree with that. Again, how they went about it, they really took an AK-47, AK whatever the hell. They took a gun to a debate where no one else was armed. But that was honestly my opinion. Not as bad as Harmony Gold and Funimation teaming up. I would agree that CBS is not Harmony Gold from everything I've heard. But all that said, Axanar should be a lot of fun. I'm hoping that they'll be able to do, at least to a degree, what they wanted to. It looks good from the behind the scenes. My understanding is they're doing a story. The more traditional, I don't want to say that's the wrong word, but you guys get what I'm saying. Traditional way of storytelling versus doing it like a documentary style. And I'm hoping that'll come out quite a lot. If we get any more information on the ships or anything like that, I'll be doing some breakdowns of them. But really, there's not a lot beyond what we see with Axanar. Or not Axanar, the Ares. The Ferengi economy would never survive capitalism? Okay. What should I get for lunch? I am going to have Mexican today. In fact, my friend that brings me Philly cheese, we are going out to go get Mexican. And that is delicious. I love Mexican food. CBS would have to work a lot harder to be as awful as Harmony Gold. Oh, agreed. It really just doesn't make sense that CBS would work against fans instead of bringing them on board. Could you imagine how amazing Axanar could have been if CBS brought them in and worked together? The problem is, the English gent, from CBS standpoint, and this is a valid standpoint, it wasn't fans just making a fan fiction, a fan film. This was because they've had fan fiction films that they've just ignored. This was a competitor who was going to use their material, who was selling merchandise that only they had the rights to, and was going to use the money they made from that to make their own studio. No, actually, I live in the United States. We actually eat Mexican people. No, Mexican food is disgusting. No, someone who has Hispanic heritage. Cannibalism is what I'm talking about. I love the internet. I love the internet so much. From what I understand, Alec Peters also had a somewhat questionable. Oh, that's not. Well, let me see. From what I've heard, Axanar offered to give CBS what they had made for free. That irritates me. Hey, you made this product. I made this product and didn't change it enough for it to be fair use, and I'm going to sell it back to you. It doesn't work like that. I'm not going to get into that argument. It doesn't work like that. So if CBS got their cut of the money, it would have been okay. I think if they had tried to license it, it would have been all right. Hello, Lore. Hope not too late. Would I miss too far? The Real Joker, we literally were just sitting here and waiting for you. Waiting. Pranks to meaning to eating Chinese. Enterprise, Quantum Link. Evening. I didn't get the notification again. How are you? I'm doing well, Nathan. Hope you're doing well, good sir. We talked last time, so I can't say we haven't talked in a while. We have talked a bit, good sir. All right, so you guys want to watch the 4-minute prelude, or shall we keep talking? I can interject in the 4-minute prelude. I just don't know how much it'll actually add to the conversation. If I'm being quite honest with you, sexy people. We gone nuts. Very rare in the Star Trek fandom. There was a lot of things. There's a again, I don't think either side is really clean in all of this. I don't think that either side made the best decisions. I do want Axanar to be made in the way Alex saw it. I thought it was I thought it was like brilliantly done. Have you ever looked at some of the extended Axanar stuff, like the Axanar comics? I do think they do a great job of expanding it. There's comics for Axanar. Was that by like Ares, or is that by actual Fossa? I have no hope at all for anything Star Trek in the future. It's just so generic and soap opera. It really is just not made for me. Mock the Nerd, I actually agree with you. I don't think that it is. If you are someone who enjoyed Nostalgia Trek, I don't think it is for you. I don't think it's for me either. Oh, look, there's Bearing Cab. Bearing Cab, I have known for a long while. And is an awesome guy. I don't think he has his own channel. I became aware of him through Bearing, who I used to watch a lot. Did Steve Shives raise shields and set phasers to block when you responded to him? No, Steve Shives, to my knowledge, hasn't blocked me yet. We've been friends, and we're even friends on Facebook for 5 or 6 years. He did unfollow me on everything, literally everything, after I went after Carlos Maza. Because I don't like people who only do things to make themselves feel good and hurt everybody else. So, I don't know. I haven't talked to him since then either. So I don't know if he would even have a conversation with me anymore. I assume he would. He didn't block me. He did unfollow me, though. We need a film or show of the Romulan War. Well, David Mitchell, I'm glad you brought that up. Did you know that I'll be sponsoring and have on this channel the Romulan War movie? Because that is something that's coming out. It is a fan fiction. Now, if you're all about, like, if you cannot watch something unless it has just the best effects in the world, probably won't be for you. But here it is right here. It'll be coming out hopefully soon. And I think you'll enjoy it. I think they're doing a lot together. I do fear Axanar will be the last good thing to come out of Star Trek going into the future. Star Trek Discovery and potentially what Star Trek Picard could be is what we can expect from now on. I'm out. I'm a big meanie, you say? Is that what I am? Steve's getting a divorce? I hope not. Steve and his wife seemed really happy. I hope he doesn't. If he is, I'd actually reach out to him. That's a horrible thing to happen to people. You don't ever want to go through that. I wouldn't wish that. I wouldn't even wish that on Carlos Maza. Greetings and felicitations. Well, greetings and felicitations to you. Yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, the Romulan War. You guys should definitely check that out. I think people would enjoy it. Spirits, another fan fiction. Looks like I'm in the right place for Star Trek fanfic. Well, Logan Groves, I'm here for you. I don't only do Alpha Canon. I've been getting some hell for doing the Star Trek Online. So here's, I'm sorry, this is going off topic for a second. My numbers for the ship for the Miranda class in Star Trek Online haven't been better. You guys absolutely love when all I do is glorified slideshows and break down ships. I've learned that yesterday. But what's funny is a small but very vocal segment are getting pissed off to the nines that I am doing non-alpha canon stuff now. I have never said I wouldn't do alpha canon, that I wouldn't do like beta and other canon stuff. But it's just interesting to me. I wanted to focus on alpha canon, but there's only so much of that. So for a setting, do you think Discovery would have worked better to start in the years between the original series and the Next Generation? There's a little more wiggle room and you could still have gotten some Klingon stories. I don't think a lot happened between those two times. Well, I think if I was going to do that, it probably would have been during the tense, I would have done the Enterprise C, and the last episode would have been its destruction. I also miss you breaking down ships. It's what's pulled me to your channel. Well, I'm glad you enjoy that, but I can only break down ships so much, I'm thinking about doing, other series. Because that's what a lot of people like, and I get it, I do, and I enjoy doing it, but there's just so much more to enjoy and discuss. Miranda class is the best of the TOS film ships. Mate, I've been up to my neck in beta canon, specifically the Voyager relaunch series. There's a Voyager relaunch series, you say. Agreed. Sometimes to fill the gaps, non-alpha canon is neat. There's actually... It's not that I need gaps to be filled in. It's just there's the stuff that to explore isn't just, a list of attributes on a ship. And again, I don't mind doing it. I just think it's just interesting. Have you started on Stargate yet? No, Nathan, which I said I would like a year ago, so I lied about that. I would really like to see more about your personal canon. Like, what's your take on Federation politics on border defense and space? I mean, it's not my personal canon. I try to do it from a mockumentary type style. I mean, obviously, my opinions and bias are going to get in there, but I do try to break it down from that. What is that weird ship with the sphere hull? I think there's a couple of ships that have sphere hulls. If you're talking about the future one that what's her name was on, Beverly, I don't think we have the class. I think it's a type, but I forget. Axanar so far is great, and CBS is jelly. There are 2 shows that are superior product than theirs. Okay. I like the ships that do something different with nacelle placements. Well, you said that too. So here's a question for you. For those who watch the Star Trek Discovery short treks, the commercial for the Tribbles, was that canon? Oh, you're talking about the Romulan War. Yeah, that's the Daedalus. Yeah, well, and I mean, Miles, when I'm talking about the breakdowns I do, it's obviously with my flair. I mean, I do listing, but I also, do it my way. Something I'm going to try to break into is I'm doing more Robotech, which should be coming out maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I kind of burnt myself out a little bit because I'm working on several projects. I'm going to try to get that out tomorrow. And Star Wars. Yeah, the old school one was the Daedalus. Thanks for that. Hashtag dyslexia. Dyslexia is a beast, man. I'm having to, not personally, but I'm having to deal with that with my daughters. It is a beast, man. I feel bad for anyone who has dyslexia. TS75Rs becoming a member. Thank you so much. Hey, did you guys know that if you don't want to do anything on Patreon, you don't have to. You can actually become a member. Just hit that join button. Did you make a video about the uniforms of the Mirror Universe? I did. In fact. I actually broke down. I did a video on the Klingon Tribble War as well. I did a lore breakdown on the Tribble War and the destruction of the Tribbles. Yeah, I'm enjoying. I actually like Robotech. I know a lot of people are like, "Well, it's not the real anime. It's not the real one, sir." I actually enjoy it. I am having I'm having a little jingle commissioned. So every time I talk about the women on the bridge, because everyone calls them the Bridge Bunnies, it's gonna be like the Bridge Bunnies. It's gonna be funny. It's the little things that amuse me. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I like what I like, and I'm not gonna feel bad about that at all. Star Trek Discovery Tribbles claiming is not canon is cheap excuse to use every time. Okay. I was diagnosed in college. The earlier you catch it, the better. Both. Yeah, I would agree. They actually now test for it in kindergarten. I'm going to be doing Robotech, which includes Macross. I know everybody was like, "Yeah, do Macross." I enjoy Robotech. The Tribbles needed to be destroyed. They were an interstellar plague. They caused a lot of death and devastation. I would agree. I would agree with that. Oh, yeah, that was one other thing. I love, I'll say this too. I don't know why. You guys are getting me off topic. Or I'm getting myself off topic. I love any chance I can. Because I got to be honest, there is a strong troll streak to me. It's something that I constantly fight. For whatever reason, there is something broken inside of me, and I don't embarrass at all. Anti-Trekker has made a lot of money off of the fact that I don't embarrass. I actually have to tell myself this isn't a good thing to do in the long run. And I guess the reason I say that is because I think that's why I enjoy the hell out of creating all kinds of different emotions in people. I enjoy surprising people. I enjoy making them angering people. I enjoy just them responding in some kind of strong way. And Robotech allows me to make jokes that anger both sides of the spectrum, politically and socially, and I just enjoy that I get to do that. And for some reason, the women on the bridge, when you point them out and talk about them, everybody gets upset about it. It freaks them out. Which is why I'm not going to like solely focus on it, but I am creating a couple of things around it. Again, like the jingle, the bridge bunnies, just because people get upset about it. I don't know what it is. Yeah, what he probably didn't tell you about that Rock Solid Productions, that specific skit, was me and him when we were trying to make fun of toxic Christians, is why that was done. What if there were a series of short treks that were resistance info broadcasts showing that paradise is just a veneer? I think that'd be interesting, but they never do that. At all. It'd be intriguing to see, to try to give the other side of it. I just don't think they'd do it. Yeah. Star Trek needs some Yuuzhan Vong. Well, apparently Bison Hawk would go to jail and is misogynistic, is what we just learned. Will Lozone is also misogynistic. You all are misogynistic people. They're just horrible. I'm not mad at the jokes because Macross fans do it a lot. Yeah. Mr. Miles, I'm confused. You want to troll people? Yeah. Hi. Well, I guess, hey, Miles, I guess we haven't met. I am Lore Reloaded, and I run a channel. It's a lore channel. It's more known for its Star Trek stuff. And yeah, I like to troll the hell out of it. Have you ever noticed that sometimes I'll just upload a video that is just for the hell of it, meant to make people mad? It costs me subscribers, it costs me views, it costs me money, but I just do it because it brings me personal enjoyment. So, I mean, you've never seen one of my purely troll videos. You have mentioned you have mentioned that was about toxic fundamentalist Christians, but the fact you had serviced Bird of Prey 5 in the Jeep in the background, did he add something to that? I guess that is Bird of Prey 5, Christian. Robotech bridge girls are ops centers, captains, and other men in the background. There are no men in the background. There's one man on that bridge, for a lot of it. There is one specific man. There may be other scenes where we see males come into it, but for the most part, it's an all-female crew, all-female bridge crew. Why would you want to troll your subscribers for your own personal pleasure? Well, if that's your thing, who am I to get in the way? Because you just said it. Why would I do anything for my own personal pleasure? Let me think about that. All right, hold on, guys. We got to figure this out. Hold on. Let's okay. If I do X, I will bring myself personal pleasure. X causes me to feel pleasure. Why would I do X if I get personal pleasure? I can't figure it out, man. One of those things. When you are doing the Bridge Bunnies, check out the Harry Enfield Women Know Your Limits. It's actually mocked sexism, but was a major trigger. I'll have to take a look at it. Yeah, here's the thing. I actually don't care about if you get pleasure from upsetting other people. I usually call those bad people. I guess I'm a bad person, Miles Chief, I guess. I like causing I like it. I like seeing reactions to people. So, okay. Miles, is this our breakup arc, Miles? Is this where you and me are going to go our different ways? When it comes to women being on the bridge, I actually don't care one way or the other. If the story is good, I don't care what people decide to do at all. I don't care as long as it's a good story and it makes sense. It's whatever for me, right? So, and I didn't even come up with the term bridge bunnies. That's what everyone else actually called them. The women on the bridge seem capable, but they do have some stereotypical issues. Like you have some of them that frighten pretty easy, or some of them that are overly cautious. You have a tsundere for absolute sure. I think is it tsundere or yandere? What is tsundere? Not wanting to kill them. Is a Japanese term for a character's process appears initially cold and sometimes even hostile before gradually. Yeah, I think it's tsundere. You have a for sure tsundere on there. I knew that before even watching the end of it. So yeah, I mean, I don't care. I just want a good story. It's just the way people react. And I would argue, I would argue, Chief Engineer, Mr. Miles Chief Engineer, if that even is your real name, I would argue that my channel and me doing it and uploading it is not in any way negative. I'm not forcing people to watch my stuff, and if they don't like it, they don't have to come to my channel. I would argue that I'm not doing anything harmful, that it's someone doing it to themselves, since I'm not going out of my way. That's what I'd argue. Laura, to be fair, I'm not misogynistic. I work a field without women because women ruin the workplace. Will Lozon, you're just. I'm not gonna read your stuff anymore, sir. I'm not gonna read it because I fundamentally disagree. But I'm not gonna argue that with you. I'm not. It's not worth my time. But we can agree to disagree, Will Lozon. We can agree to disagree. Guys, here in time for Lore Live. I'm actually going to be ending soon, good sir. But we did get to say. Because dead lore is sad. Well, I mean, if I'm dead, I would be sad. That's true. The more Trek shows, movies, the better as far as I'm concerned. Fan-made or not, just don't create a Frankenstein on my favorite show. Yeah, I don't think we're going to... it depends on what you mean by Frankenstein. I don't think Star Trek Picard... I don't think Star Trek Discovery, nor Star Trek Picard are going to be anything like Nostalgia Trek. And so if that's a Frankenstein to you, I don't think you're going to have a good time. I personally feel like many people go online to get upset. So what you're really doing is giving people that. I like this relationship because you make people upset as entertaining. I'm here for you, cretinous. Women should rule the world. Agreed. I was forced. There's no other good quality Trek. Therefore, I am forced to watch Laura Real. Well, there you go. There you go. All right, guys, about to end it very shortly. I got to go get me some food soon. Going to be having Mexican food. But do you have anything else before we end it? Oh, no, he won't read my stuff because we disagreed. You're trying to get me thrown off the YouTube is what it is. You're trying to make me read your stuff so I get thrown off for breaching terms of service. We know what you're doing, Will Lozone. We know what you're doing. We know how this works. I don't see much of your content as overly negative. You have a lot of opinions I don't agree with, but I never felt you were trolling, even if you say... Well, I mean, it comes down to definitions of trolling, too, right? I mean, trolling for me is making a comment about social justice, both for and against, both in support of and against, and then just watching people freak out about it. Watching unreasonable people stay unreasonable. That's fun for me. Usually it's done in a way that I feel like is makes you think. But a lot of people just go. I want you to make the videos that you want, says Victor. I want to make the videos I want too, Victor. I do too. Trolling for fish. One could say I'm looking for catfish. Hey. Why would I do that? I like your content, mostly. I demand more trolling videos. They make me giggle like a school. Well, I mean, look. Let me give you an example. My favorite one. No, I never said I was a social justice warrior, now did I? Maybe I am. I mean, social justice warrior comes to anything. I've been called a social justice warrior because I've been like, hey, I don't care what women decide to do, and it doesn't bother me if they're in lead roles. Apparently that makes me a social justice warrior, but give me a quick second. I'll show you guys. I'll give you an example and we'll end on this one. All right. So press 1 in the chat if you have seen Telltale's The Walking Dead, if you like that series. 1 in the chat. 2 if you don't. Let me know in the comments below. Trawling. That's what I was doing. I love me some Voyager. Well, I'm glad you like Voyager. I'm glad. Laura, I hurt my film. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, Tectonics. See, now Mr. Miles is trolling me. Have a different or negative opinion gives you something to research. I would agree with that. All right. So for those who have actually seen it, what did I think of Captain Proton episode? I was never a fan of Captain Proton. So for those who haven't seen it, because there's a lot of people who actually haven't. The Walking Dead, if you don't know what The Walking Dead is, it's a zombie thing. I think you know who The Walking Dead is. But Telltale's is a game company, or was a game company, and they made series that were basically, they were games, but they were as simplified games as you can get. It was basically being like a part of a movie or something like that. And so the company went under, and we didn't know if we were going to get the ending to the Walking Dead game, and because they put it out in it was episodic, and a lot of people, I mean, it had a huge following. Just people just loved it to hell and back. And so what I made this video, and this was before the episode 5 came out. And no one thought that it was going to get out. They thought that it had been canceled. And so this is the Telltale's Walking Dead final season ending scene leaked. And this is what I do sometimes for trolling. This is on my channel. And let me get here, and then we're going to end with this. And then I'm just going to stop it. Hold on. Hey guys, just a quick video. I apologize. Hey guys, just a quick video. I apologize about all the noise in the background. My kids are still awake, and I even have a drink out there. And the AC is going on. Just quick, as you guys know, the Telltale games ultimately went down. The studio's gone, and The Walking Dead isn't going to be finished, the final season. But they did actually release the final scene for people and fans who wanted to see what was going on. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys see that. A little bit of background because the scene isn't complete. AJ, they did a time skip, and AJ is now an adult. And Clementine and AJ had just had a fight, and AJ was walking away. AJ was a little child she was taking care of, and he had decided to go to the evil side. So, he was going to kill if he needed to, and Clementine feels like she had, just betrayed him, that she didn't do a good job. And they actually have some cutbacks to some older characters, which is pretty cool. So here it is, and remember, guys, ultimately, all our lives are a story in the end. Make yours a good one.
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God.
When he rolls up his sleeves, he ain't just putting on the Ritz.
Our God is an awesome God.
I still laugh about that today. Oh my God, pissed off so many people. So made them so angry. It was, oh man, I lost subscribers left and right. It was worth every one of them, every loss. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna see you on the next Lore Reloaded. Oh man, God bless people.